So up next, Hanan Besovic will go in conversation with Charlotte Geyter. She's the founder and creative force behind Bernadette Antwerp, the Antwerp-based label celebrated for its hand-drawn prints and couture-inspired silhouettes. A graduate of the Royal Academy of Antwerp, Charlotte, together with her mother, has transformed Bernadette into a global success, seamlessly blending fashion and lifestyle through a distinctive vision of modern femininity. Don't miss this unique encounter between two of fashion most forward people right now.
Okay, it's me again. You cannot get rid of me. I have a huge pleasure and an honor to talk to a female designer, something that in the fashion industry today seems to be a weird concept. So first, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to give her a round of applause. Because we have Charlotte, and listen to this pronunciation, Geyter.
Good job.
Eight. I do want to start the conversation just about that as a female designer, because we don't have a lot of them. And Belgium right now has a lot of young female designers. Meryl, we have Julie, we have you. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this feminine wave that is coming?
First of all, yeah, it's very motivating and I'm very proud to see in Belgium that there are so many young brands led by women. And of course, Bernadette is both from my mother and I. So this is something that we really use as our biggest strength, and the fact that we are both women wearing the brand and really thinking and talking with all women around us. And at the end of the day, we are our toughest critic as well. So this is one of the biggest strengths of our brand. So, yeah.
It's two women from two different generations,
yeah.
which is very unique. You don't have that anywhere pretty much.
Definitely, and that's how our conversations also start, because we represent women of two different generations, and we also, we grow, and it's a continuous conversation of what we want to wear, what we need, what we desire, what is comfortable, what makes us feel good.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So take me back to the time where this whole thing, the concept started, because you went to the academy. How much did that affect this universe of Bernadette that we see today?
So I started in the academy when I was, I think, 20 years old. So I was very green and I didn't really know who I was yet. But what I like about the academy is that there's so many different people there, and you really get motivated to find yourself, find what makes you unique, find what's your strength, and really look for inspiration in arts, in nature, in whatever makes you unique. So it's really a place for me where I have very positive memories, and it's where I really found myself, and I built this universe, and where I discovered my love for drawing. And yeah, when I think about that time, it's very important and very special to me.
But you took it differently, because usually when you graduate, people go to they go to other brands to learn stuff. You said no. You're like, let me immediately do my own thing. What was the reason for that?
I think like all my friends and I, we all had the same dream of going to a fashion house, become a designer. So that was always my plan. So when I graduated, I moved to London. I started an internship. And of course, my relationship with my mother is very important. So he kept on calling every day. And then I realized, okay, first of all, we have a very special story to tell as a mother and daughter, because we have this creative relationship and really a point of view together. And then, of course, in school, I created this universe that I felt good in, and I really missed that. So I knew I knew we had a story to tell, so that was the moment I thought, okay, no, let's just jump in together. And I moved back to Antwerp, and we really sat together and looked at everything that we had to offer.
Did you ever decline a call from your mom? Because I did. I did. Sometimes. But your mom is kind of like, she's really cool. From what I know, she worked for Ralph Lauren, right?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, my mom, she's a very creative person, and she loves creating these universes. And it really starts from dressing herself, but also dressing her home and her house. And there's always a feeling of coziness to what she does. And that's also a big part of the brand as well. And I think, yeah, that's something that's in her, and also something that she saw in her own career as well. So it really influenced
when
the
I did the
brand.
research for this, I went to the website, and then there's a picture of you and your mom, and I asked Sophie, and I'm like, wait, is that her sister? And then I see her mom. Her mom looks gorgeous, honestly. I'm like, so I need a skincare routine from your mom, just so you know. She's somewhere in the audience, by the way, so make sure you give her a round of applause. But the one thing that I'm like super fascinated when it comes to Bernadette is your model of work. Because from what I know, you started with silk printed dresses only,
Yeah.
which I told my husband, I'm like, if there's one thing that I ever do, I'm like, I'm sticking to one thing. So you kind of stole my idea 7 years ago. But how did that like come about? Because it's very unusual for today. Today is like one person wants to do 7 million things.
Yeah. Yeah, we started with a very strong message. So we had quite simple shapes made in beautiful fabrics, and we knew we wanted to show the prints, and that was the first idea. And that is when we launched with, I think, a small collection of 8 to 10 dresses, and it really grew into a whole universe we see today. But in the beginning, we had 4 collections a year, and it went really fast. And I knew I wanted to draw the prints. And after 2 years, we thought, okay, but it's going so fast, we can do more with the prints. It's an artistic process, and it takes a lot of time to create these. And fashion goes so quick. So it went very naturally and very intuitively, and that's the moment where we launched the homeware as well. And then we went over to 2 collections a year. So I learned a lot the first 2 years, but it was very quick. And that was also the moment where we had also, I think, built a loyalty with our customer. And then we started designing also more solid pieces, and it was all in these taffeta fabrics with like 8 meters of fabric in one dress. So it was sort of a risk back then, but then we saw our customer react to it as well. So we had already built the first part of our universe, and the customer already knew us. And then we were very grateful that the customer followed, and they bought into the new categories as well. So we're taking it step by step, seeing what works, but we try to remain very, very loyal to who we are, and that it keeps on making sense. So.
Do you think that that relationship with your customer is the most prized thing that a brand can have? Because I feel like, you know, even like when we look at Phoebe Philo, you have a feeling that people are going to follow her no matter where she is. How do you feel about that?
I think one of the nicest parts, I think now of the brand in December will be 7 years. And I think when we see orders coming in from our e-commerce, I have the app on my phone, and it's actually the first thing I see in the morning. And then I'm so grateful if I see a customer that has bought pieces of our brand on over the past years. So I think that's something that's very motivational, and it's very special. And also now with social media, you you can see how it's being born. You can see how it takes its own
Its own
life.
exactly. She first goes to see that in the morning, and I'm on TikTok. I'm on TikTok, meanwhile. But a huge part of the brand is also homeware,
Yeah.
right? Because one thing that like I read when I was reading is the word coziness. What motivated the homeware?
So yeah, it's my mom and I together, and it's a big part and one of the biggest strengths of my mom. She can now, for example, she rented an apartment at the seaside, and it took her 5 minutes to make it Bernadette and to make it feel like home. And I think we are a mother and daughter brand, so that's what you see. We want people to have that feeling of coming home, that coziness, and it's mirroring our relationship as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. One huge part of the brand also is art. And I think coming from Belgium, especially Antwerp, there's kind of like big shoes to fill, because like you really do have some legendary designers here. Why is art so important to you? Because you can see it in your pieces.
For me, freedom is in the arts, and fashion, of course, is a business. And I'm very grateful that I can find a lot of freedom in creating the prints, because there's no restrictions there. And of course, my partner Ben is an artist. So for
So
me,
you cannot escape it, pretty much.
yeah, I cannot escape it. And also, it's art for me it feels like coming home and having conversations after work in the evening about something like color or composition. It feels like coming home, and it's for me a reminder of what is most important. So,
How does that influence your work? Because there is this fine line that designers today have to walk between being artistic and kind of like rely on people buying and consumerism in general. Is that difficult to manage?
for me, it's all a big puzzle, both the creative side and the business side, and I think all of it needs to make sense. And as I said, what I enjoy a lot is seeing people wear it and thinking about what women want today, what they need, what is the mood they desire at that moment. And I think that is also in a part the business side. So I think what our strength is looking at that business side, but also making it creative. Okay. And it's all one big puzzle, and that the puzzle is really what drives me.
Okay. It has to be this balance between two. You said that your boyfriend is in the arts, right? I saw a couple of his pieces. If he's here,
he's
good
here.
Job. There you go. Good job. Hope you painted this. But do you end up in? And like I have to ask this because I'm nosy. Do you end up in his work, and does him and his work end up in your work?
I think.
Because I saw a blonde lady on his painting, and I hope it's you.
I think there's some of, I think I am in his work as well, but it's important that there's imagination, that anyone can be it as well, but definitely there's elements of both worlds in there. But the cool thing, I think, is that both our work was sort of similar before we even met. And both of us find a lot of creativity and freedom in nature. So that is...
That's beautiful.
I think that is... You can see that in both the brands and in his work.
That's very fair. That's very fair. But when it comes to like... You are a young designer still. 7 years is a long time, but how old are you? You're... okay, well, I should not
really?
ask that. My mom would kill me right now.
No, it's my birthday
well,
next
you're
week.
20, you're 18. Yeah. So what's the advice that like you think that like people, especially emerging designers, can learn from you? What's the one thing that you would tell them, just to be like, hey, I made a mistake here, don't make a mistake? Like, what would you warn them about?
I think in the beginning when we started our brands, we were really in our own cocoon, but once it would launch, you start to look at all the other brands. What are they doing? What do I need to do to get up? But that's really something that we realized afterwards. You really cannot get distracted, and you really have to look at yourself. What is your strength? What can you bring? What makes you unique? And that's really something that my mom keeps telling me, like, okay, do what you feel comfortable about with, and really don't get distracted. So there's no one way of doing something right.
I mean, you have a unique way just because like your mom is here. I mean, like your mom is like, you have somebody, how does that make you feel? Do you feel a lot comfortable in what you do because you have someone to be there for you no matter what?
Definitely, it's very important to be able to ping pong with someone. And my mom, she gives me a lot of confidence, and she really pushes me forward. And it's very important because it's obviously a very hard industry, and there's a lot of opinions. So I think it's important to surround yourself with people that really lift you up and believe in you from the start. And of course, my mom is number one, and then the family, and also the team we're building. But also, for example, we work a lot with a lot of my friends that are in fashion as well. So it's cool to see it all come together, and you need a lot of support.
What's the one thing that your mom told you as an advice that you will remember forever, besides the do what you think? Because I think, like, I mean, somebody who worked at Ralph Lauren, that is a huge thing. You know, you have somebody who kind of like knows the industry and can pinpoint you, hey, this is the best way to do it. What is the one thing that like you're like, okay, I remember her saying that?
I think in the beginning I stressed about everything. I lost a lot of kilos. I aged 10 years in 1 year. And so my mom was always the chill one. She said, Charlotte, this too will pass quickly, and stay calm, and there's always a solution for everything. I think that's really her motto.
I love that. I love that. That deserves an applause. I agree. Is it difficult to be a woman in this industry?
Well, I feel a lot of support in Belgium, so I'm really happy. And I have to say, seeing all the young brands in Belgium, it's really motivational, and it's really, when I see Meryl or Julie doing a show, I'm like, okay, we can take it to the next level. And I think it's very important to motivate each other and to really speak loudly. And I think there's a big difference.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, especially today with like, you know, with men kind of unfortunately dominating the industry that is all about women. I feel like we need more fashion designers that are female. When it comes to Meryl and all of them, exactly. Do you talk to them, like, because all of you are in this like very, I mean, rare. It's not rare, but like in an industry that that kind of like, you know, puts women in not in creative director roles. But do you guys ever talk about stuff like that? Like, do you exchange information and stuff like that about how does it feel like to be a woman in this industry?
Definitely, because I have a lot of friends working in Paris for big houses, and it's definitely frustrating when definitely.
It is.
So, but it drives us even more. So it's motivating us more and more to work harder. So.
When it comes to, I'm going to come back to the boyfriend because I forgot to ask you one question. The influence of your boyfriend on you, besides work, do you feel that kind of like got your inspiration even further? Like, it's beautiful to be in love. Does that fuel your passion also?
I think we're both very passionate about what we do. So I think, and we're both very ambitious. So definitely this influences us a lot in the weekends when he's working or I'm working. Then we do it together, you know. So definitely, yeah.
Perfect. How many paintings of his do you have at home? This is a
Well, not a lot, I have to
really.
say.
Where is the boyfriend?
But
How
it's very
dare you.
special. Every year on my birthday, I get a little bouquet. And it's not a real one, it's a painting.
Oh no way! That's beautiful.
So
It
now
saves-
we have a lot of bouquets.
it does save a lot of money on the bouquets that way, but that still counts.
And
It still
it's- yeah.
counts. You do come from a place that is very known to fashion. Like today, we have designers that are legends from Martin Margiela, from Dries. Do you ever feel pressured by that, or are you just like, I'm gonna do my own thing?
But that's the cool thing about Belgium is everyone is very different. So it feels motivational, if you have to
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
That's fair.
Definitely.
That's fair. When it comes to the future of your brand, what do you think? Where is your dream to go? Like, what is the, ultimate goal? You already have a brand, but what do you want to see in the next 10 years? What are the plans?
So we really want to keep building the Bernadette universe step by step and in a healthy way. And for me, it's important that the timeless aspect is very important, that the brand, that the name Bernadette will be remembered. And I think there's so many opportunities because we slowly launch new categories. They were slowly taking over different spaces in the house as well. So I always say this, but it's a little bit of a joke, but maybe it will come true to one day we can really have a hotel, for example, because we're taking over all the different rooms and the experience becomes much more 360 and there's a lot of opportunities.
Perfect. This was amazing. So I'm very happy that I came here. I'm very happy that I got to know you and your brand. As I said, we do need more female fashion designers, and I think you're doing an amazing job. And it's a great pleasure to be here. So thank you very much for the talk, and thank you guys for being here.